Everybody, thanks for tuning in to watch this video. My name is Luke Baldwin, and this is a talk on how UX role will evolve with AI. I'm doing this talk tomorrow at UX Camp, which is a UX conference in the town of Brighton in the UK. And I'm just recording this so that anyone who would like to watch it again, if you've been to the conference and enjoyed being part of that talk and you'd like to reflect on it again, there's a video which we can roll back again and look at again to go over. While you're here, please like, comment and subscribe, whichever way around that is. I can't believe I'm saying that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the reason I'm talking on this topic is, like many others within the UX community around Brighton, I'm sure your mind would have been blown away by the amount of amazing imagery that has been shared around, created by Midjourney. And also, if you've used ChatGPT in the last few months, I'm sure you would have been blown away by that as well. AI has really come along, and it feels like that Jurassic Park moment where something has just gone to another level. I was going to talk on another topic altogether when planning my talk at UX Camp, and just decided to change it because it was just the biggest topic within UX at the moment, is how AI is changing things. Yeah, I just wanted to thank you all for being here, and the purpose of this really is to engage with other like-minded UX professionals so we can look at how AI is changing human behavior, how AI will be changing the use of technology journeys. We as sort of experienced architects will need to look at the full journey maps, and those things are changing themselves. I think there's new tools that we as UX designers may use, utilizing AI technology as well. So that's the rationale. I appreciate any comments you have. If it's on YouTube, leave the comments below. At the conference, I'm going to leave some time at the end so that we can all discuss and hopefully come to some conclusions at the end as to where we want to shift our skills and what kind of future we feel we have within the industry. So without further ado, my name is Luke Baldwin. I'm a product designer currently working in fintech. My previous company I worked for was a health and fitness app where I worked alongside an AI engineer. So I have worked with AI and UX previously, not in my current role, although things have just really gone to another level since I last actually worked with artificial intelligence. I'm also a beer creator, so I created beer experiences. I also lead a beer brewing project in Brighton. That's my other little side hustle. If you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, there's a QR code there. It would be great to hear from you and then chat more afterwards. So like many others, like myself, you probably mind was blown away how rapidly you could get Journey to produce something so beautiful and detailed and just incredible. If you'd used ChatGPT, I'm currently studying philosophy and theology, and just within a prompt managed to get it to write a really well structured assignment. If you're my lecturer and you're seeing this, please don't condemn me, and I don't think it's actually illegal at the moment to do that. So please go easy on me. Yeah, again, it's like that Jurassic Park moment where something has just shifted dramatically. I started worrying about my future, my colleagues. My mind was racing what I should be working with next, how I should be working with it, how others would be affected, and just stunned by the quality of what the robots can produce. The creativity has started to make me question what it is to be human. Yeah. So I set about thinking and pondering on this, and then I got to work on, I guess, a discovery piece, researching all the kind of milestones, the things that are being released, collaborations within different companies, beta software that's being released. I've just started doing a lot of research and trying to put together some kind of time frame as to when all these stars were aligning, and to help me plan, I suppose, my next year ahead or 2 years ahead even. So as part of my research, I developed something I'm calling the stages of AI maturity. So this is more in the context of UX, just in terms of preparing myself with some kind of time timeline that I'm working to shift my skills into and to see how users are using the technology as well. This concept, this model has 6 steps, and we're currently in number 2, so I'm calling it emergent technology. Step number 1 is conceptual, so the AI tools have been around for quite a while, but not anything that's kind of like really that usable or workable. So we're in what I'm calling innovation and beta now, where lots of companies are using OpenAI and things like that to asking people to beta test different products, including ChatGPT and Midjourney and numerous other tools, which I'll talk about. The next stage is structured. That's when Copilots start to become a kind of bigger thing, and the end users start to be more and more familiar with AI. The next step along that is I'm looking at 2026 to 27. Again, these are just figurative dates for discussion at the end. A number of important tools. It's predicted at that point that AI will take over organic Google search, and then people having copilots will be commonplace. I'll talk about copilots in a minute. And then partial automation is where it kind of switches, where we become the copilot. So we're kind of helping the AI, and the AI is making a lot of decisions for us, but we are sort of authorizing or moderating. And then full auto is something where that hopefully will never happen, but it's got to be sort of there as an option in the future at some point. So where are we now? We're in the emergent stage, and just to create a level playing field, I mean, hopefully most of you are fully aware of all these things anyway, and some of you will be further ahead than me. But just so you can understand what these kind of tools are: ChatGPT, Midjourney, DALL-E 2, Galileo, Adobe Firefly, Google Bard. There are numerous others, but it's just hopefully that everyone watching this or at the talk will be aware of these tools and just kind of have used them. But just to kind of benchmark, these are the things I'm calling emergent beta tools. The first time I saw some of the imagery created by Midjourney, I was just completely blown away. Imagery that you could only previously create on Photoshop, but it created instantly, and I was stunned. I flicked through it very quickly. My beer project, a new beer I'm launching, wanted a picture of Jesus the hipster drinking beer drawn in the style of Todd McFarlane. Instantly created a load of graphics. Blinged up Pope, people eating lava, a volcano, and then I created my theology assignment in ChatGPT. So I was just amazed, and some of the videos it's creating as well. So it created a video of a boy or girl riding on a koi carp's back, and also a complete film was created, an alien invasion film. I'm not sure if I need to play these or not to you, but you can see that. I'll do that very briefly in this one.
Houston, this is Rob. To stand up aliens. A group of delegates representing Russia and its allies left off on board the Soyuz space.
You can look through those things in more detail in the attachments afterwards, but skip through that. I cloned my voice on Resemble AI, and it's kind of a deep fake thing. So AI avatars are becoming such a big thing as well. Not just copying your voice, but starting to sort of imitate people's character. Cloning, mind cloning as well, being that kind of, there's a company that is cloning people's minds, so when they've passed that people can talk to them. In terms of UI tools, I looked at some of these things, like you can upload screenshots now from an app and it will just create it into a editable file. You can then change the whole design system on it. If you're working on a design, it will look at anticipated heat maps from your design, so you can sort of verify that before actually making it live and looking at it on Mouseflow or Hotjar. So lots of new features. So I was just thinking about what inefficiencies that AI will fill in, I suppose, within UX or UI work. Creative design variations, that's quite time consuming sometimes, but that can be done now in seconds if you just give it a text prompt. Debating insights, often that's something that can take up a lot of time within a team, which one might or might not work, or previous user research where people had seen something and did or didn't resonate or whatever can be kind of done in an instant with AI. And then publishing content, so whichever CMS you're using or that whole process of digital delivery, it can just kind of rapidly cut down that time. Also, in terms of the end user, in terms of how it's changed user behavior, if we look at the user experience model, where we've got usability in the middle. Before use, you'd often have people going through Google to comparison sites, and there's this whole kind of piece before they land on your app or website where somebody has been interfacing with different platforms, different people. That might all just be cut down to something like Google Bard, where they just ask them the question. I'll take you through an example of that in a minute. And then during use, we may be working more with voice and video. So satisfaction, effectiveness, and efficiency is still part of that, and how effective the video is. So does that video have some feature within the video that the user requires? How quickly it delivers the information they need, and how they feel about the experience of the voice or video experience. I don't think it'll ever be just voice or video, because for accessibility reasons alone, there will always be a interface or a visual interface type of user. And then if you think about afterwards, if everything is connected after they've used your platform, whether they've come off the metaverse and are then going to their fridge or looking at their online banking, or everything being connected, it's just a big thing to consider as well. Looking at a journey where someone previously might want to consider transferring pensions into one pot, and previously they might go to Google, and then discover unbiased.com, which is a place where they can find a financial advisor. Once they've found one listed, they can book an appointment within a week or so. Or they may go to Google and then discover all these kind of comparison sites or independent advice sites, and then basically get quite confused because they're gathering information from various sources and then go on to make a decision. But if people feel there's more integrity and it's more unbiased, then people may just go to AI and ask the question, where should I transfer my pensions? Yeah, it's legal in general. Okay, I'll choose that. So I think impartiality and trust wins, and efficient and shorter journeys, people will expect efficient and shorter journeys, be more intolerant to kind of lengthy processes, jumping around and searching for information. Another a big thing is the use of AI agents. So we've already got Microsoft launching Microsoft Copilot, which is part of the Microsoft suite, a tool where somebody can use AI to bring together lots of parts of their work and summarize and cut down, be like an assistant. So taking meeting notes, making sense of them, circulating them, creating action points, or things like that. But also there are a number of new tools on the market now where the end user can have their own kind of personal assistant agent, which I'll show you in a second. So you've got workplace agents, like GitHub and Copilot, and then you've got things like auto agents, which you can connect to ChatGPT to be your kind of personal assistant to do a lot of decision making for you and report back. So this is Agent GPT. So you put into here a goal, choose the best pension company to transfer all my pension pots together, and it's gone away and it's looked at all the reasons why someone would choose a company to transfer, such as good satisfaction, good charges, and then ultimately it's then recommending a company. So it's a bit like, it's acting kind of like a financial advisor and giving me some financial advice, really. And then you've got things like Adept. With this, you can ask it to do a number of things for you, even in Figma design programs, in Excel. You can say, open up this summary sheet in Excel and tell me, what decisions I should make based on the stats. Or you could say, open up Figma and create a screen flow for an onboarding process and make mobile and desktop screens and utilize our new design system, and it will just do it. Yeah, there's also examples I've seen where somebody might say, find me a house in the Brighton area, 3 bedrooms between 500 and 600,000, and it will go across all the sites and fill out all the forms and come back to you with a selection. So it's basically doing a lot of admin for the end user. The end user's journey, they may never actually visit your website anymore because they're getting their bots to do it for them. And so it's really important to think about that, how someone comes to your website or app, and that whole beginning journey piece has kind of changed. So talking about partial automation, this is at stage, I think 5 out the 5th step that I mentioned in the AI maturity timeline. this is where the AI we become the co-pilot, and the AI potentially becomes the main pilot. So I put together a model showing how this might work, and we're starting to see lots of these companies starting to merge and take over and things like that. So I've just put this model together. What if we had something called Cockpit, which is for the pilot and co-pilot, that basically integrated all your insights and design and testing and publishing all in together in one place, and it would just design solutions for you based on insights. If it was something debatable, it'd be constantly testing with real users using a platform like usertesting.com. Usertesting.com's just bought out UserZoom, so you're starting to steal these activity in the market at the moment. Adobe has its own analytics software. If it could do all this for you, then we might end up just with a dashboard where the AI is suggesting things and informing us, and then we're just kind of approving. So what if it designed a new layout for us based on an ABCD test that it created for us? We could then view the recommended page design change, potentially in Figma format, and then just approve it. And then it could publish it and make it live. It could inform us of some behavior and make a suggestion and just allow us to decline or approve. Perhaps the slang in the video wasn't resonating in user testing, so it's changing some language. Perhaps it's discovered a new accessibility guideline problem, and it's just saying, well, this is what it's recommended to do, and we just approve or decline it or review it. So that's just a concept of how that could work, that kind of us as the co-pilot thing would work. So apart from moderating content, how else can I add value? So you start to think, well, if a lot of the work I'm doing now doesn't exist anymore, then what space do I move into? And I started thinking about one of my favourite YouTubers, my favourite content creators, a guy called Yannick. He runs a channel called Football Therapy. If he was purely taking information, I mean, he reports 3 or 4 times a day on the latest information on what's happening within Chelsea Football Club, gossip, rumours from all kinds of sources. If he was purely just giving me the information, well, there's lots of other sites like that do that, and I'm just not interested. What he does is he overlays that kind of human value. So his cat's constantly jumping into the video. He's sometimes reflecting on glorious times, walking down the Fulham Road where we just won the trophy. You almost get a sense of the place. He's been there. He's also been there when we've lost and it was miserable, queuing in the rain. So he's overlaying constantly his personality and his own emotions and human value. That's something that the bots can try to do, but it sinks deeper. If you know your content deliverer is expressing human feelings to you and emotions, that's something that so far I've seen bots try to do, but it just doesn't land with me so far. So I think that's just definitely an area of exploration more for those that aren't kind of digging deeper into empathy and emotional intelligence and those kind of areas. So what does ChatGPT have to say about what UX designers should do? So it wasn't my first point of call going to ChatGPT to ask, what I should be doing to equip myself for a future in UX. But once I'd gone through my own investigation and my own thoughts, as a second step, I asked ChatGPT, kind of like asking the oracle what it thinks. And it came out with this. It said creative problem solving. It said focus on emotional intelligence, speak to users on a human level, and understanding user needs, behaviors, and motivations. And then focus on human-centered design, approaching from... So it's all very human-y and emotional and empathy. Perhaps you're a UI or UX designer that doesn't focus so much on those things, is more focused on the kind of visuals or the business solutions, or I don't know, but that's what ChatGPT's suggesting that I focus on in this time where artificial intelligence is automating more and more. AI doesn't always get it right. I asked it, what do you think the score will be on the game today, Chelsea and Aston Villa? And it said Chelsea will win 2-1. Well, we ended up losing 2-0. Fortunately, I didn't bet my life savings on the answer. And so it just goes to show that whatever AI says doesn't actually mean it's a fact. It's a kind of amalgamation of logic alongside information. So will full automation ever happen? This is kind of end times, really, and I'm not here to talk about this in detail, but there are all kinds of theories around the ethics of it. The fact that I know Elon Musk was aiming for there to be a 6-month halt on development of AI. It says it all, really. And then a glimpse further into the future. What if the bots did take over? This is a clip from one of my favourite AI farms. That's assuming that we're not doing physical work either. We're just all plugged in and consuming entertainment and content. I don't have to watch about that. So now let's conclude. Now we've discussed all of these things. Where can we focus our skills? So I'll move my video over this side for you. New journeys to our platforms. So with the emergence of agents and artificial intelligence, people won't be probably going through the same pre-platform experience. So the interface that we'll have may be more with the agent. They might not even have much decision. So just to bear that in mind, the journey change. If you're focusing heavily on SEO, perhaps that's all going to change. Hopefully somebody wouldn't be knackered and tired out from looking at various sources of information before landing on your product. So less advice and comparison sites. So I imagine comparison sites would suffer as a result of this unless they start to incorporate AI as well. Who knows? Focus on content AI can reach. So how does my information become part of those data sets? Perhaps you could start looking at that as well. And focus more on voice, natural language, and less on the interface. Someone once said, future interface is no interface, which I don't fully agree. Using automated tools ourselves, so we need to understand the tools ourselves, and they'll constantly be evolving and changing. But unless we get stuck into using them ourselves, we're just going to fall behind. And then I think ethics and validation of reality is going to become a big thing, with it being so easy to deepfake video and audio and security. How will anyone know what's real and what's not? Emotional intelligence and human factors. So I suggest that we move more into that space, how people are feeling, how they're thinking, what's their context of use, what's their environment, maybe diary studies, more kind of psychology, that sort of thing. AI and accessibility. So if we know the AI bots will be scraping websites and other information, I know they'll be able to describe images. So one thing they might be able to just describe as image to text or image to speech. If you don't have ARIA labels on your images, then it may include information that it deciphers from images on your website instead. So I think there's a whole area of accessibility to consider as well. And then developing our own co-pilot. So I began developing my own, and in future you might be able to develop their personality and all kinds of things as well. So if you have a personal assistant, they can have an avatar and a personality. Being conscious of that too. Maybe wherever possible, start developing your own co-pilot. So you need to understand your end users, and they'll be using these things. So you be ahead of the curve and use them too. I noticed a lot of newer job roles starting to appear on the net. So conversational AI designer seems to be quite a popular job advertised at the moment. AI moderators and AI test engineers, AI cybersecurity engineers, and we may get to a point where it's our robots against someone else's robot. So these cyber attacks will have to compete with our cybersecurity, and I can just see that as a whole big area, because you can ask AI to detect vulnerabilities and to develop code to hack into things, and it's just becoming more and more accessible to more people. AI ethics consultant. We've seen a lot of reports on mental health pandemics through things like social media. If anyone's watched The Social Dilemma, I really recommend you watch that if you haven't. You understand what I mean, but I think there'll be more ethics on what is real and what isn't real. And that's a whole area, I think, to explore. A reality certifier, so certification on what is real and what isn't real. And perhaps that would be an area to move into. And then Neuralink engineer, so sort of implants and helping people connect AI into their biology, into their brains. Been reading reports on people with hearing challenges and eyesight problems, and the AI sort of making up the kind of missing gaps for people. And so there's a lot of good that can be created from it, and there's whole new industries and areas to move into. This is just a quick mock-up of PensionBee website, where they've done away with all their text content, and instead it's being read out with the transcript as well. And you can choose a language, you can search like a chatbot. So we might see things, traditional websites start to move more into audio and video and chat. So big question is, should I panic? Should I panic? No, of course not. Nothing good comes from a panic state. Maybe panic for a moment, and then once you calm down, start to digest logically the steps that you might take. And I think it's just to not panic and just to refocus. I watched a YouTube video this morning, and he was talking about AI agents, and just 2 bullet points I've taken from that. Most interactions with computers will be through natural language, not user interfaces, and documentations, FAQs, manuals will be for AI models, not for people. So definitely there's going to be more of a move towards actual language and voice. And then if you've got hundreds of pages of documentations and PDFs and FAQs, you want AI models to include them in your data sets, and that might be more of a new area to explore for you as a business or as a designer. Just a little summary of what I expect there to be less of and more of over the next 2, 3, 4 years. You can see just pure UI. AI will be creating a lot of that for us as designers. So our resource will be less needed in that area. But also because of the move towards voice and the metaverse, there's going to be more of a move away from so much UI development, I think. So AI won't replace designers. Designers leveraging AI will replace designers not leveraging AI. And that's all I have to say, and that's this summary. Thank you for listening, and especially if you've come along to UX Camp. It would be great to catch up with you and chat about your thoughts on this. If you think it's a load of rubbish, if you disagree, I'd love to hear that too. Because, I mean, the purpose of this talk and this video really is just to encourage discussion about what us as UX designers, UI designers should be doing, should be moving into, how we should be shifting our skills, if we should be fearful or not. Yeah, so I'd love to encourage those of you that are on YouTube to discuss below your thoughts. I will be responding actively to anyone that comments down there. And hopefully I've seen some of you at UX Camp and potentially another conference soon. Thanks, bye. Thanks for visiting.